Welcome to episode 40 of Duties of the Heart by Rabbi Bachya Ibn Pakuda, and we are in the last section of chapter 4 of the Gate of the Trust in God. And as we, this pretty long chapter 4, we've dealt with 7 concerns regarding trust in God. And we're now up to the 6th group, the 6th concern, and this regards trusting in God that reward will be given in the world to come, or how we should analyze this. So he's going to continue. Now, let us take up the 6th group, the reward in this world and the next that a person merits by his good deeds in this world. This takes 2 forms: reward in this world alone and reward in the next world alone. Sometimes a person merits both on account of a single deed. This matter was not explained to us in detail. Rather, the Creator promises people general rewards for general observance and did not state specific rewards for specific acts of service in this world, as he did in regard to punishment for transgression, where he states which acts make one liable for stoning, burning, decapitation or strangling, 40 lashes, death, although not the form not expressly stated, premature death, payment of a monetary fine, whether it be 2-fold, 4-fold or 5-fold, payment for damages by an ox, or a pit, or beast's teeth, or fire, or for wounding another person, or seizing his private parts, defamation, and the such like. But of reward and punishment in the next world, Moshe had not told us anything in his book for several reasons. One of these is that the form of the soul, apart from the body, is unknown to us. Still less do we know what brings it delight in that state or causes it to suffer. He, referring to God, did, however, explain this to those who could understand its meaning, as he said to Yehoshua, "I will let you walk amongst those who stand here." This is from Zechariah chapter 3 verse 7. This was not to be while his soul was still joined to his body, but was an allusion to the state after death, when the soul, in its simple and refined condition, divested of the body and no longer using it, assumes the form of the angels, if it was purified and radiant, and its deeds were good in this world. Another reason is that the doctrine of reward and punishment in the world to come was received by the common people from the prophets in the form of oral tradition and was grasped by the wise through their intellectual faculties. They therefore did not mention it in scriptures, just as they did not mention much of the exposition of the commandments and duties, because they relied on the tradition. Another reason is that the people were in a state of ignorance and deficiency of understanding, which is not hidden in the scriptural account. The Creator acted towards them as a sensitive father would act towards his little child, when he wants to train him gently, step by step, as it is written in Hosea chapter 11 verse 1, "Israel was a child and I loved him." When a father wants to teach his young son wisdom, which ultimately will enable him to ascend to the higher levels, but which he cannot presently understand, if he tries to induce the child to learn by saying to him, "Endure the strain of discipline and instruction, so that through them you may ascend to esteemed levels," the child will be unable to bear it and will not listen to him, because he does not understand it. But if the father promises him things that bring him immediate pleasure, such as food and drink, attractive clothing, a nice wagon, and the like, and threatens him with immediate discomfort, such as hunger, nakedness, a beating, and the like, whilst reassuring him with convincing, tangible arguments and clear and truthful evidence, it will be easier for him to endure the strain of discipline and bear with its difficulty. When he reaches adolescence and his mind has matured, he will understand the intended goal of his training and direct himself towards it, while the pleasure for which he had been so eager at the beginning of his way will appear unimportant to him. Such an upbringing proves to be a great kindness towards him. Similarly, the Creator, may he be exalted, held out to his people promises of immediate rewards and threats of immediate punishment, knowing that as soon as they would be trained for his service, their ignorance of reward and punishment in the next world would be banished. Their aim in serving would be for his sake alone, and they would comply with his service to draw near to him. The same can be applied to all passages in scriptures that ascribe corporeal attributes to the Creator. Another reason is that a person does not become worthy of reward in the world to come on the strength of his good deeds alone. Rather, in addition to these, there are two factors that qualify him for such reward from God. The first is that he enlighten others in the service of the Creator, may he be exalted, and teach them proper conduct. As it is written in Daniel 12 verse 3, and those who turn the many to righteousness shall shine like the stars forever and ever. And also from Proverbs 24 verse 25, for those who reprove that there will be delight and good blessings will come upon them. When the upright individual has acquired the merit of promoting righteousness in others, together with the merit of his own righteousness and the merit of his faith and patient submission, he will be considered by the Creator worthy of receiving reward in the world to come. The second condition is God's grace, generosity and goodness, as it is written in Psalms chapter 62 verse 13, Grace, O God, is yours in that you reward a man according to his work. The reason for this is that, even if a human being's good deeds were as numerous as the sands of the sea, they still would not be equal to even one of the favours bestowed upon him by the Creator, may he be exalted, in this world, all the more so if he committed a sin. If the Creator were to hold a man strictly to account in demanding gratitude for these favours, all his good deeds would be neutralised and erased by the smallest of the Creator's favours towards him. Any reward bestowed upon him by the Creator is not deserved on account of his deeds, but is the result of God's grace towards him. Punishment, however, in this world and the next is justly deserved, a debt that man must pay, only that God's grace overcomes it in both worlds, as it is written, Grace, O God, is yours. This is from Psalms. And also Psalms 78:38, but he, the compassionate, would grant atonement for sin and would not destroy. A further reason that Scripture does not elaborate on reward and punishments in the world to come is that the practice of goodness is of two kinds. One of these is concealed. None but the Creator observes it. For example, duties of the heart and the like. The other kind is observable in physical movements and is not concealed from other people. These are the active precepts performed with the limbs. For the fulfillment of observable duties, the Creator bestows a visible reward in this world. For the fulfillment of inner, hidden duties, he gives a hidden reward. For example, the reward of the world to come. King David therefore referred to it in language that gives expression to this, as he says in Psalms chapter 31 verse 20, How great is your good that you have hidden away for those who fear you. The manner of punishment, visible and hidden, is like that of rewards. So just to comment a little bit, we must not, sometimes we see people, very pious people, and we're not aware of these internal battles that are raging in them. Perhaps God tests them inside, in their hearts, in various ways. And although they have a calm demeanour on the outside, you never know what battles people are facing in their inner world. This inner world is as, we understand, mental health and our inner world are as powerful as anything tangible on the outside. And sometimes people can be heroes without even showing anything from the outside to other people. So this is what Rabbi Bachya is saying, that it's even God will give rewards for conquering inner battles in the inner world. And Rabbi Bahya continues, proof of this is God's promise to his people that for visible service there will be visible immediate reward in this world, as explicitly stated in Parashat Im B'chukosai from Vayikra chapter 26, and that for visible external transgression there will be visible immediate punishment in this world. This is because the people as a community are responsible only for external acts, not for what is hidden. As it says in Deuteronomy 29 verse 28, the hidden things belong to Hashem our God, but those that are revealed belong to us and to our children forever. And also from Vayikra 20 verses 4, if the people of the community in any way hide their eyes from that person, then I will set my face against that person and his family. In regard to the inner service and transgression of the heart, however, the Creator, may he be exalted, is responsible for requiting them in this world and in the next. That is why Scripture does not elaborate on reward in the worlds to come. Another reason is that in reward and punishment mentioned in Scripture, the prophet speaks with the people of this world about reward and punishment in this world. Because Yehoshua ben Yehotzadak was in the world of the angels, God said to him in Zechariah chapter 3 verse 7, I will let you walk amongst those who stand here. This is the way of offering inducement or deterrence. It must suit the time and the place. Understand this. Another reason is that the goal of the reward of the world to come is none other than to cling to God and to draw near to his supernal light, as it is written in Yeshayahu chapter 58 verse 8, your righteousness will go before you, the glory of God will gather you up. And also quoting from Daniel chapter 12 verse 3, those who are wise shall shine like the brilliance of the sky. And also Job 33 verse 30, that he may be enlightened with the light of life. And this can be attained only by one who finds favour before God. Thus, favour before God is the essence of the reward. As it is written in Psalms chapter 30 verse 6, his anger is but for a moment, life is in his favour. And also in Parashat Im B'chukosai, he made allusions that teach of this favour before him, as it says, I will not reject you. This is from Vayikra chapter 26 verse 11, and also from the same Sedra, I will look upon you with favour, and I will be your God, and you will be my people. Now Rabbi Bachya is going to talk about trust in God in regard to reward and punishment. And he continues, trusting in God in regards to what he promised the righteous concerning reward in this world and the next for their devotion, that he will grant it to those who deserve it and also punish those who deserve it, is incumbent upon the believer. Trusting in God in this matter is essential to perfect faith in God, as it is written in Genesis 15 verse 6, he believed in God and he counted it to him as righteousness. And also from Psalms chapter 27 verse 13, had I not trusted that I would behold the goodness of God in the land of life eternal. And he continues, a person should not rely on his good conduct and confidently assure himself that he will be rewarded for it here and hereafter. Rather, he should be active and vigorous in showing gratitude for the Creator's favours continually bestowed upon him, but not out of hope for future reward that will be due him for his actions. In this regard, he should trust in God, after doing his best to repay the debt of gratitude he owes the Creator for his great kindness towards him. As our masters of blessed memory said in Ethics of Our Father, chapter 1, verse 3, be not like servants who serve the master on condition of receiving award, but be like servants who serve the master not on condition of receiving award, and let the fear of heaven be upon you. One of the pious used to say, if a strict accounting were made of what one owes God for the kindnesses he has bestowed upon him, no man would ever attain the reward of the world to come for his deeds, except by God's grace towards him. Therefore, do not rely on your deeds. And King David also said in Psalms of this, grace, O God, is yours. You reward a man according to his work. Now we're going to move on to the seventh group, the grace bestowed by God on his chosen and treasured ones in the world to come, a great bounty of indescribable good. The proper way of relying on God in this regard is as follows. One should employ the means that will help one attain the high degree of the pious, who are worthy of this divine grace. These means are as follows: acting in accordance with the qualities of the ascetics who shun this world, banishing the love and preference for this world from one's heart, and replacing it with the love of the Creator, may he be exalted, devotion to him, delighting in him, feeling spiritually lonely in the world and amongst its inhabitants, and adopting the practices of the prophets and the pietists. And then one should have trust in God, that he will bestow grace upon him, as he bestowed grace upon them in the world to come. But one who trusts that God will bestow this upon him without the medium of good deeds is ignorant and foolish, and he is like those of whom it is said in Sotah 22b, they act like Zimri and expect a reward like that of Pinchas. What distinguishes people of this high degree is that they guide God's servants to his service, exhibit patient endurance in time of trial and tribulation, and regard everything else as of slight importance when compared with the fulfillment of the Creator's commandments. This you know from the account which begins in Genesis 22 verse 1, and God tested Avraham, and from the stories of Hananiah, Mishael and Azariah in the fiery furnace. This is from Daniel chapter 3, and also Daniel in the lion's den, and also the 10 martyrs. Whoever chooses to die in the service of the Creator rather than rebel against him, whoever in this cause chooses poverty rather than wealth, illness rather than health, tribulation rather than ease, and submission to God's judgment and acceptance of his decree, such a person is worthy of divine grace in the bliss of the world to come, of which Scripture says, and he quotes from Proverbs 8:21, to endow those who love me with substance, that I may fill their treasuries. And also from Yeshayahu, chapter 64, verse 3, No eye has seen, O God, beside yours, what God has prepared for those that wait for him. And finally, from Psalms 31:20, How great is your good that you have hidden away for those who fear you. So that concludes the fourth chapter, and quite a complex and slightly esoteric final section where we talk about God's reward in the world to come and how it can be achieved and what we can expect and how we can trust in God. And I suppose it would make me think of King Solomon when he said, Sof davar hakol nishma yira etz misusav ki zeh kol ha'adam, which is now all that has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. When you reflect on it, all you can do, you can think about it and analyze everything, but at the end of the day, just keep God's commandments and let him fulfill the rest. So that concludes this fourth chapter, and I look forward to the last chapter, which is the next chapter, which is the fifth chapter, and we will discuss the difference between one who relies on God and one who does not, with respect to the way that they employ various aspects of life.